Welcome back to the channel, guys. My name is Gene Edwards, and this is round number 2 of this attempt. Apparently, I had a little toggle button that wasn't allowing the audio of Sammy to come through. He was actually coming through on the feed, but I think we sorted it out. I'm hoping. Anyway, again, this is lubed for April 16th, 2023, and this is the Stanley Cup preview. I am bringing in Sammy for this video as we discuss all the series and the breakdown. We don't just discuss the Edmonton Oilers, who are eventually going to be the Stanley Cup champions when it's all done and said. Sammy's already laughing at me on this one. Without further ado, let's bring in the man himself, Mr. Sammy. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, buddy. How are you doing?
And I can hear you this time, so everything's all good.
There you go.
I'm doing excellent. So you were not feeling very well yesterday when we were trying to do this yesterday. I'm happy for you coming on board today. Very much appreciate it. Always nice to get your insight. And what are we looking at right now? We're looking at the potential of the Stanley Cup final. Let's be honest. Oilers versus Bruins. This could very well be the end-all of end-alls. So we're going to dive into all the series. Sammy, I'm going to get your opinion. I'm going to ask you how many games you think it'll be over, who's going to win the series, and I'll do my same thing. So without further ado, Sammy, let's get into the very first matchup, which is the Bruins versus the New York Islanders. They've split the season series this year. However, the Bruins outscored the Panthers 17-15. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, Boston versus Florida. I don't know. I think it's a great matchup, and I think it's gonna be a lot of fun to watch. Florida Panthers, obviously, they were the best team in the NHL last year in the regular season. They still got a lot of great firepower on that team, especially with the addition of Matthew Tkachuk. There's some good play there. I don't necessarily think they'll be an easy team to knock out, but I still think Boston will defeat them quickly. I don't think they'll be easy. They'll be easy games, but I think Boston will take them out. And in my prediction, probably 5 games.
Right now, okay, you really think 5 games, eh?
Probably, in my opinion, 5 or 6. But I don't know. It's the goaltending for me of Florida that I just do not trust.
Yeah.
And I think it'll probably be 5.
So my buddy in Edmonton, my buddy Steve, if you're out there watching there, Steve, he actually predicts Florida actually upsetting Boston in this. Yeah, tall task, tall order, but I mean, you never know. There's always an upset, man. There's always an upset.
The playoffs are a different beast than anything
They
can
are.
happen. Again, we look at Tampa Bay a couple years ago when the Blue Jackets swept Tampa. But I don't know. I don't see that happening. I don't see it happening.
I'm kind of with you, Sammy. I just, from what we saw to the Bruins this year with a, record-breaking season in wins, like what was their total? Was it 63 that they broke? Was that the final total, or did it go up to 64?
The record, I think, was 63, and they hit 65.
65.
Yeah.
Man, that's a juggernaut. That's a beast. You know what I'm really looking forward to, Sam?
What?
Out of this series, and this is probably the one series I'm going to be watching very closely out of the East. Tkachuk versus Marchand.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun to watch. That's for sure.
That is going to be something for the ages. I think that'll be the series I watch out of the East anyway. Okay, let's get on to... I guess I should give you my prediction. So I think it's going to be a little bit closer. What did you say? Final prediction?
5 games.
Okay, I'm going to say 6 games, and I'm going to say Boston. I think Florida just doesn't have the caliber of all areas of the game: the goaltending, the defense, the will to win. We saw what Bergeron did to win that cup way back in, was it 2012 against Vancouver with punctured freaking rib or lungs?
So that the punctured lung and the broken ribs and like fractured everything. That was when they were in the final in 2013. They didn't win in 2013, but Bergeron was super injured that series. They did win in 2011 against Vancouver, and I
Yeah,
think in that series, like there were a bunch of other injuries that came out
yeah,
afterwards. But the one you're thinking of was 2013
yeah,
when they didn't win, but still dedication to the mile.
yeah. Okay, Sammy, let's move on to the next series, which is the Toronto Maple Leafs versus the Tampa Bay Lightning. Season series goes to the Leafs by a count of 2-1, outscoring the Lightning 12-8. Is this the year Toronto finally makes a jump and makes it to the second round?
I think it is. I really think it is. Tampa Bay has played a lot of hockey over the last 3 years. Again, we talked about their pretty historic season there in 2018-2019 season when they had 62 wins. The following season, again, they win the cup. And you can throw an asterisk on there if you want in the bubble there, but regardless, they won the Stanley Cup. The following season, they won the Stanley Cup again, and then this past year, they made it to the Stanley Cup final. Going through Toronto in the first round to get there, but they made it to the Stanley Cup final again, losing this time in six against the Colorado Avalanche. Regardless, they made it to the final. Tampa's played a lot of hockey over the last 3 years. Um, Toronto, I really think just with their additions that they made at the trade deadline, they are a very well equipped team. I think now more than they have been to make it farther in the playoffs than they have. I don't necessarily think they're going to go far, but I definitely think that this is the year they're going to They're going to not upset. They're going to beat Tampa Bay, and they're going to go to the second round.
They have to. They
Yeah.
have to. They absolutely have to, or they're going to look like the biggest. I don't know. They have to. They have to. They have. This has to be the year. They have to do it.
Picking up Ryan O'Reilly and picking up, was it Eric Gustafson or whoever that one? I can't remember the one defenseman they picked up. They also acquired Luke Shen.
Yeah.
A couple other pieces that Nola Chari, I think, or yeah, a couple other pieces anyway that I can't remember off the top of my head, but they picked up multiple good pieces. Ryan O'Reilly being the biggest one to help shore up their centers. Um, I like their roster now and their matchup against the Tampa Bay Lightning than I did last year. I still think they should have beat Tampa last year, absolutely, but this year I think they really should beat Tampa. And if they don't beat the Lightning this year, blow that team up. Like, just
Oh yeah.
blow the friggin' team up.
Blow up the head office too. Like blow everything has to go. No, I honestly think this is the year Toronto actually gets by the first round. However, they will not get past the Boston Bruins. Is the way I'm looking at it. Like,
Agreed. Also, my predictions is in six
is it in
games.
six? Yeah, I could probably work with six. I think that'll definitely be a likely scenario. Let's move on to the New York Islanders, New Jersey Devils. New York Rangers, New Jersey Devils. Sorry.
There you go.
The Devils winning the season series 3-1, outscoring the Rangers 14-10.
This one, I think, could be a bit of a bloodbath. I mean, the Devils are a young team, so they're inexperienced in terms of the playoffs. Other than having Andre Palat, who was on those Lightning teams for the last few years. Now he's on the Devils. And then as well Dougie Hamilton, who's been on a few playoff runs in his time between the Bruins. Not so much with the Flames, but still was in the playoffs, and then with the Hurricanes, he's made a couple playoff runs with them too. So they got playoff experience on their team. However, they still got a very young team outside of that. Nico Hischier, Jack Hughes, Luke Hughes. They got a young team. I like them. I think they're gonna take the Rangers far in that round. I think it's gonna be a close series. But in terms of matchups, I like the Rangers better. It's hard to bet against Igor Shesterkin, Vezina Trophy winner last year, still a very good goaltender. Defensively, their defensive core in New York is better than the Devils. And I mean, come on, to have a top six on the Rangers of Patrick Kane, Vladimir Tarasenko, Artemi Panarin, like it's just, I don't know. The Rangers top six is almost unfair. I have this series going to 7 games, and I believe it'll be the New York Rangers that takes it.
Well, I'm going to disagree with you on this one. And I'm going to base it off of the 2 games that the Jersey Devils played in, or the one in Edmonton, and when we went over to Jersey and played them. And I witnessed a team that matched speed for speed with the Edmonton Oilers. This team is so fast and so skilled with the puck. Not to the level of McDavid. Don't think I'm saying that, but they they have that speed, and I think that that's going to kill the Rangers. And Shesterkin not yet has proven that he's a playoff goalie yet. So I am going to say I'm going to go Jersey and 6 on this one.
Jersey and 6, eh?
Jersey and 6, yeah.
Look, I don't doubt that the Devils could beat the Rangers. I think they absolutely could, but I just think combined the playoff experience total on the Rangers team, I think is what will ultimately push them over the edge. And like I said, I like their roster just a little bit better, but I also don't doubt a young, hungry, up and coming team like the Devils to push the distance on them or go past them. I don't doubt it that it could happen.
Could very well happen. You never know. And that's the thing. That's the beauty of this time of year. The winter is getting away from us. Spring is coming in. The warmer weather, and it's playoff hockey. This is honest to God.
My favorite time of year.
Right now, it's my favorite time of year. It's
Absolutely.
my favorite time of year. Like
Christmas, my favorite season. Second favorite season is the Stanley Cup playoffs. Like,
yeah,
my roommate and I, it's finally hitting upwards of 20 degrees here in Lethbridge.
yeah.
And we've been barbecuing, hanging out on the patio the last few days. I'm excited to sit out there, put a hockey game on while sitting out on the patio at night.
Yeah.
I'm excited. Yeah.
Well, this is in my life being up there in age, a little older than you. This is my first time I've had an outdoor job. And when you're working outdoors in the winter, even in Kelowna,
Yeah.
it still at times hits -20, -17, and
Yep.
we do 8 to 10 hour days sometimes. It's yeah, I'm definitely welcoming the spring. But anyway, we're not talking about the butterflies and warm weather and that. We're talking about the playoffs. I'm just going to keep mentioning. Let's see what we got. Another comment here. Okay, let's just put this one comment up. Arend Verdegang. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong, but he figures it's going to be the Oilers and Bruins finals.
We'll see.
Arend,
We'll see. We'll see where our brackets go.
I totally agree. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing your name Arend. Let me know if I am butchering it. But yes, I kind of see that as well. But we will carry on. Keep the comments coming, guys. Let's dive into. Okay, so we did the Rangers jersey. Okay, Canes versus Islanders. What are your thoughts there, Sammy?
This one as well is going to be, in my opinion, a very probably low scoring series, very defensive series. I think as well this one goes the distance. I think this one also goes 7. I don't doubt that the Islanders can pull it off against the Hurricanes. It's hard to knock against the Hurricanes with how good of a team they are.
Sorry, I didn't mention to you, Sammy. Canes won the season series 3-1 and outscored them 12-9. I should have mentioned that at the beginning.
All good, all good. Again, I think this one goes to 7 games. I don't doubt that the Islanders could win it. Again, honestly, I'm 50-50 on this. I do have the Hurricanes taking it in 7, but I could see it going either way.
Either way, I don't think it's going to go 7, though. I like the Canes. I like the Canes a lot. I would say Canes in 5.
5,
just,
right?
I just think that Brindamore has that team really, really tight to the plan. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they either do it his way or they're not playing, pretty much. And it doesn't matter what nameplate is on the back of that jersey. You do it either Brendan Warren's way or you're benched, and he's been known to do that.
Yep, for sure.
So I can see. I think Canes will take in 5, maybe 6. But yeah, I don't see the Islanders having much of a hope in that series. All right, let's take this now to the. And Aren says the Islanders. He's taking the Islanders here.
Again, I don't entirely disagree with them. If the Islanders win that series, wouldn't surprise me one bit.
Yeah. Okay, now we go to the West. This is the good times now. In the West, we will start off with the Vegas Golden Knights taking on the Winnipeg Jets. Vegas swept the season series, outscoring the Jets 13-8. What are your thoughts, Sammy?
Call me crazy. I have Winnipeg taking Vegas in 7.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, so this is your upset.
This is my big upset. I just don't knock against Connor Hellebuyck. That is just that's all. Honestly, that's all I really have to say. Don't knock against Connor Hellebuyck. Vegas, I think, from top to bottom, is a better team for sure, but it's the goaltending in Winnipeg that I think is the advantage there. Like honestly, I think, in my opinion, Winnipeg either takes it in 7 or Vegas probably sweeps them. It's one of those two outcomes. I think.
Well, both
in my opinion.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
Both Arend and CD locals say it's going to happen in 6 for Vegas, so they kind of disagree with you.
Wouldn't surprise me.
This is a tough one to call, but I'm with you, man. I think
really
I don't want to bet against Hellebuyck, man. I don't like. And Winnipeg has been coming along a little bit better as of late. This could be the upset. This would be the likely one for the upset. We'll see.
Like the thing is, Winnipeg had a really good start to the season, had a really good first half of the season. They fell off kind of after the trade deadline a bit and were kind of floating 500 for a while. They weren't looking too good. Honestly, I think the only reason they squeak into the playoffs over Nashville or Calgary is because of Connor Hellebuyck, because of how he's played. And that's why I say that he honestly probably single-handedly could knock out Vegas. That's why.
Could be. He could be. Yeah. And Vegas are deteriorated on the tending aspect of things too. But this
Vegas can either go with.
I wouldn't be surprised if Vegas wins either.
Yeah, they have 4 goalies they can run with. Brossoit is their starter that they said for game 1. Jonathan Quick is their backup. And honestly, again, don't knock against Jonathan Quick if he plays. Him in the playoffs is a different animal. They also have Aiden Hill and Logan Thompson could be back by the end of the series.
Yeah. Who knows? All right. Here's the big one. You know where I'm going with this one. The Edmonton Oilers versus the Los Angeles Kings. Season series split 2 games apiece. The Kings outscore the Oilers 10-9.
Difference of 1 goal.
That's all.
Big whoop.
When I thought that, I'm like, this might be closer than I actually like to see.
Yeah, I think the Oilers win this one. I think they win it in 6. In my opinion, they could go 6. But I think it will be 6 close games. I think Joonas Korpisalo has proven himself to be a very good goaltender, not just since he's been on LA, but his save percentage and his goals against average for Columbus when he was on the Blue Jackets was very good. His numbers were very good on one of the worst teams in the NHL. He had very good numbers. He single-handedly pretty much as well knocked off Toronto during that qualifying round a couple years ago, if my memory serves me correctly. He's a very good goaltender. That team from top to bottom is very solid as well in the Los Angeles Kings. But just how can you knock against Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, and on honestly how Matthias Ekholm has played since he's come in for the Oilers, and how Stuart Skinner has been since the trade deadline? Like it's hard to knock against him right now.
Yeah, that's Ekholm has been so huge, so huge. He's what Duncan Keith brought to the team last year, only a much younger version. So, and we got him locked up for a few years. So that's the beauty of that whole situation. And something that I was watching Steve Dangle earlier today, they were doing their little breakdown of all the playoffs like we're doing right now. And I forgot what his name is, the one co-host on there. He basically says, "Can you remember the last time Stuart Skinner lost a game in regulation?" Ah, and it made me have to think a little bit. So
Yeah, I can't. I mean, like I follow the Oilers pretty closely. I'm not like a diehard fan like you are, but I follow them closely enough. I can't think of the last time he's lost a regulation game.
yeah, that's true. City Locals pipes up and says 14 has a great beard too. I think you have a
That
great
is
beard there,
true.
Sammy. Looks like it's coming along.
Yeah,
Mine's in the
we're getting
process. Mine will be hopefully nice and fluffy because I'm not going to shave this portion of my face until the
there.
Oilers are done the playoffs this year.
The playoffs.
So yeah, that my playoff sides, I guess. So we'll see. We'll see. Okay, moving on, Sammy. We will move on now to. Okay, so I'm gonna say for me, I'm gonna actually say it's gonna go 7 games, and it's probably gonna be a lot tighter. But yes, Edmonton will either win it in a very close seventh game or an overtime seventh game. I think this is gonna be
Yeah,
the series that's gonna make me go nuts. Like I'm gonna be so neurotic. I'm gonna be like
I'm sure.
quivering and kind of shaking, like not being able to function the next day. So yeah,
That was
this one's gonna drive me nuts, I think.
yeah.
Okay, where we are. Okay, Dallas and Minnesota. The Dallas Stars and Minnesota have a tied. But the Stars, so 2-2 apiece. The Stars outscoring the Wild 14-10.
I am gonna go with the upset on this one as well, and I actually have Minnesota winning 7.
You think that's an upset?
Yeah, Dallas is. Well, I guess it's second seed versus
Oh yeah,
third
yeah,
seed.
yeah. Actually, no. Actually,
It's a
a lot of
technical
networks
upset,
actually have Dallas and Edmonton playing in the conference final. That's true too. And
yeah.
yes,
But I have Minnesota in 7.
I totally forgot about Oster. What's the goalie's name?
Jake Ottinger.
Ottinger. I was gonna say Ostrigy. I'm like, that's not correct. It can't be that.
Jake Ottinger. Yeah.
You have Dallas in 7. Sorry,
Minnesota in 7.
Minnesota in 7. So that's gonna be the upset, eh? Could very well happen. Could very well happen. I just, I don't know, man. I don't know. So what do we got here for? Okay, so City Local says the Wild in 7. And Dallas in 7 by Arend and Ottinger. Yes, thanks, Arend. Sometimes I just draw a blank when I'm on this channel, and that's the worst part is because you're doing it live and you just can't think on the moment. Yeah, I don't know. I think Ottinger will be the factor in this one. I think Dallas is going to actually win that series. Going forward. Okay, we have what 2 more series, I believe, and yes, so Colorado versus the Seattle Kraken. The Kraken have the series lead, defeating the Avalanche 2-1, and outscoring the Avalanche 7-6. So this one could be very different. I lost your audio, Sammy.
Sorry, I forgot to unmute myself. Avs. I have Avs in 6.
Oh, you have the Avs in 6, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're heating up right now. They did have a rough start to the beginning of their season. And I remember back in December saying, "Holy cow, Colorado may not make the playoffs this year." Do you remember that?
Yeah.
When they were on the outside looking in, but then their second half they just really started playing good. Yeah, you can't count out the Avs when they got Makar and all that. I don't know if Makar is going to be healthy to go, but I definitely have. I would say almost 5. They've been to the dance, so I think they know with their experience. Aren says 5 or 6. I have to agree with him. I can't I can't see Seattle, but Seattle's been surprised. They've been that team this year that when I don't know if I did the season preview with you at the beginning. Did I?
I can't remember.
Well, I know I did a season preview, and I counted them to be. I knew I didn't have them dead last, but I think I had them in 6th in the division, and they've been a very pleasant surprise. That's a team that is coming around. Very good. Okay, I think. Is that a wrap? Yeah, I think that's it. We got all our teams in.
Yep.
Because we came on so late and because of the distractions, all I have for the graphic is your Stanley Cup predictions. So I will let you go with that, but I don't have I didn't type in what you actually had. So it just says Sammy's Stanley Cup final prediction. So who are the last 2 that are going to make it, and who's going to win the cup?
So I'll just quickly say the rest of my bracket. I have Colorado for the West, and then I have Edmonton in 6 games over Colorado in the Western Conference Final to go to the Stanley Cup Final. In the East, I have the Boston Bruins over the Rangers in 7. I have the Bruins over the Leafs in 6. Sorry, and then the Rangers over Carolina in 7. And then Boston in 6 over the Rangers in the Eastern Conference Final. And then I have the Bruins in 7 over the Edmonton Oilers in the Stanley Cup Final.
Faith in my Oilers, man. That's so disgusting to hear. But you guys, I have to go against it because even a Rend here, I believe it was a Rend. Let me just go back to that comment section. Yes, I got a Rend. He's saying it'll be the Bruins in 6 over the Oilers. I'll tell you what, guys. This is the thing. If the Oilers make it to the Cup final, there's no way in hell Connor McDavid's going to be denied. There's no way in hell he's going to be denied. They will win that cup, probably in 6 or 7. But I'm going to say Oilers versus Bruins. That's our cup final. And lock it in. The cup is coming home. The cup is coming home, guys. If
I wouldn't. I wouldn't be disappointed to see Edmonton win, because I would like to see a Canadian team win it for once, for the first time in 30 freaking years. It would be nice to see a Canadian team win it. Too bad it's not going to be, my favorite team, Vancouver, but they're not going to be the ones to do it. But I would, if Edmonton won, I would love to see Edmonton do it. It's so hard to knock against the Bruins, with just how good they've played. My heart and my thought process is with Boston on that one. Part of that might also be slightly biased because they are like my second favorite team and they're my dad's favorite team. So it might be a little bit of bias there, but at the same time, they broke records for a reason, man. Like,
I gotta ask you, what is the water in BC like? Because you like the Boston Bruins, though they took out your Vancouver Canucks in 2010. Same with the hockey
2011.
guy. He likes his Boston Bruins, yet they took out his Canucks in 2010. I mean, when the Oilers lost to Carolina in '06, I still hate them and still simmer over that playoff. I don't have any respect for any of those teams that beat my Oilers out and took that away from me. You know what I mean?
Look, I for the year after Boston beat Vancouver, I hated Boston. I was 12 when the Canucks lost to Boston there. So like I just was, a preteen hormonal child just full of rage against the Bruins. But just as, that's been 12 years since that cup final. Just in that time period, I've softened up a bit, and my dad, as he's getting older in his age too, and his health has started deteriorating, I have found myself being a little more sentimental towards things that he likes, towards some of his favorite
Yeah,
things.
yeah, yeah.
So I have found the Bruins have just naturally kind of
So
plopped in there
your dad's been a Bruins fan his whole.
his entire life since the
Oh,
60s. Since the
yeah,
60s with Bobby Orr, like
yeah,
that Bobby Orr was the person that made him fall in love with
yeah,
hockey.
yeah.
It
That's
was him
yeah,
watching Bobby Orr, right? For me, the person that made me fall in love with watching hockey was like Marcus Naslund, Todd Bertuzzi, and then the Sedin twins. They were the ones that made me fall in love with hockey. For him, it was Bobby Orr. So, like I said, just as I've gotten older and as his health has deteriorated, I've just watched
yeah. Fair enough. Fair enough.
really fallen into my
Fair
loves.
enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
You know what? I have
Yes,
to say
yes.
that's quite admirable of you. But like he is your dad, right? He is your dad. I remember when my dad was alive. I remember he was always against the Oilers. He was always against the Oilers. So we would watch Hockey Night in Canada, and they'd be playing the Flames, and my dad would be sitting on the couch, and Gretzky would take a shot, and my dad would kick his right leg out or his left leg out from the couch, and he was like playing goaltender from the couch, so we'd always laugh
Yeah.
and then pick on my dad. Hey, we won the cup, and like just make his life miserable. So yeah, I remember those memories too. But yeah, Sammy, it's always a pleasure, man. Maybe we can get together for the round 2 and round 3 and maybe the Stanley Cup final.
I'd love it. I'd love it, man.
That would be really good. Okay, guys, I guess we're gonna wrap this up. If there's any more comments, I will acknowledge them. But other than that, I think we got this pretty much wrapped up, and it took 2 takes because I was not really following not doing the software properly that I use for this. So guys, just a reminder, I have a Sportsnet hockey pool up. It is lubed with Gene Edwards. The password is Lenny. L. So it'd be uppercase L, E N, or Leonard, ENARD, I believe. I have it on the previous video that I did yesterday. All the information if you want to track in. Would love to see you guys join us for the Sportsnet Hockey Pool. That's a personal group. Sportsnet does offer a $25,000 prize nationwide to the winner of that pool. And hopefully we can see you guys in and make a little bit of a contest and for bragging rights. And there's a couple more comments here. Okay, so Arand, it's so I believe it's you can always go back to the previous video, but I think it was lubed with Gene Edwards is the hockey pool you're looking for, and it's Lenny. L, so capital L, lowercase ENARD. I believe it is. If I know there was a little bit of an issue today with the passwords and that, so if there's any problem, you should be able to log on to my video that I did yesterday on the Sportsnet pool, and it has all the information about those details. Anyway, guys, that's it, man. Go Oilers, go. The playoffs start tomorrow night. Again, I will try to do my live feeds post game. However, if the games go to overtime, I will have to do it the next day after, as I have to be up at 4 a.m. every morning, so I can't stay up for every single overtime. Not until the final. And then the final I will be staying up for. Okay, guys, we will talk soon. As always, stay healthy, stay happy, stay hydrated. Have a good night.
Don't wanna sleep in, cause I got something to prove. I gotta take what I hate and finally make a move. I think of you and all the shit you don't do. Well, I'ma make hella sure that I don't become you. I have no regrets, yeah, I'll tie up my chest. I'll never forget what it's like to be in debt. Been stabbed in the back bed, I'll show you what happens. Pass me the mic and I'll